Добрый день, Sergeant. Меня зовут Topolov. General Topolov. Rad видать, comrade. Your mission in the Ukraine is simple. Allied forces seek to challenge Soviet air supremacy. Right in our faces, they build MiG prototypes of their own. They test their new air fuel bomb. They test their chronosphere. The Govnyuks grow bold. There's got to be a settling of the score. Destroy the prototypes, but take the chronosphere. Purge the Ukraine of the Allied presence and the bastard behind the threat. Assassinate General Stavros, the Greek commander. До свидания. That is all.
Welcome back, Commander. I'm gonna preface this with the cutscene that we just saw. It doesn't seem to be in the same order as the levels are in the menu for the expansion missions. So, if that cutscene had more info for missions we'll see after a later cutscene, don't worry too much about it. Right off the bat, the Soviets have a rather interesting mission. Your task essentially is to stop the Allies from destroying the Iron Curtain project. And, you. And to do that, you're given a very paltry force of 2 mammoth tanks. You could probably sell some buildings in order to get some more troops, but it's probably not a good idea, just in case. So far anyways, it doesn't look like our base is really threatened, and there's enough defenses that you probably don't need some extra infantry. As always, it's a good idea to keep your units moving, just to minimize any damage they'll take. Now, at first you might think it's kind of silly to see Tanya, and then the map kind of opens up a little bit. If only my mammoth tanks are just a tad faster. And maybe I should have sold one of the refineries, but in any case, it's not that big a deal. If anything, it's a little nicer because you don't have a refinery that's further away from any mineral fields, so it won't take them quite as long to get anywhere.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
I don't believe that all of these reinforcement drops that we're seeing are specifically timed, so I don't think you ever have to truly worry about taking your time and getting a little bit of resources before you ever bother moving out, or getting a Iron Curtain charged up.
Yes, sir.
Training.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Vehicle reported.
Training. Unit ready.
Vehicle report knowledge.
Training.
Awaiting
Unit ready.
orders.
Training. Reconstruction
Report knowledge. Yes, sir.
options.
Affirmative.
Unit ready. Building.
It's a little annoying you don't see these beforehand. It'd be nice to know if you had a base up in the corner.
Report affirmative. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Awaiting orders. Affirmative.
Even just the outlinings of a base would have been nice. But I guess maybe it just didn't work with the various triggers they have in place.
Unit prepared.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Building.
Yes, sir. Awaiting orders. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit repaired.
Awaiting orders. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Mission saved.
This is what happens if you give me a ton of money, no specific time frame, and I mean cash.
Ready.
Reporting. Acknowledged.
Building.
Yes, sir.
Iron curtain ready. Unit ready.
Sadly, though, it does seem that the Allies are actually getting their own planes, so we might have to actually deal with them sooner rather than later.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and yeah, that's not a hallucination. They've got Yaks and MiGs,
Awaiting orders.
which is more or less just annoying. We've seen time and time again, the Yak is absolutely not a threat versus vehicles, especially not of the Harvester type.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting orders.
Select target.
Yes, sir.
Iron curtain.
Affirmative.
Charging.
Awaiting orders. Yes, affirmative. Yes, affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, acknowledged. Affirmative. Awaiting affirmative.
Credits.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Vehicle acknowledged. Vehicle reporting. Vehicle acknowledged. Awaiting orders. Acknowledged.
It's a little sneaky for them to do that, but I don't think it ever really matters.
Yes, sir.
Whether or not they steal money, it's more just something that might affect you rather than
Yes, sir.
what they could do.
At once. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Because, well, let's face it, you don't really have anything to take out those planes.
Affirmative. At once. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, affirmative. 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 Awaiting acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
And yeah, I could kill the buildings, like, right now, but
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
might as well just wait for the planes to land first anyways.
Acknowledged. Awaiting orders. Ready and waiting. Agreed. At once. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Awaiting orders.
There's no real point to scouting your initial base. It's more just something to do, really.
Building.
Vehicle report. Affirmative.
Like, I guess if they really wanted to be sneaky, they could do something where, you know, they hide like an extra couple units or something, but,
Report acknowledged. Awaiting
well,
orders.
we won't see it now.
Yes, sir. Very well. Very well. Affirmative.
To be fair, I don't think they ever really do that.
Yes,
Allied
sir.
forces approaching.
Acknowledged. Vehicle report. Affirmative.
Now, I don't quite know what the specific trigger is for this. I doubt it's destroying that naval shipyard.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit
Yes, sir.
ready.
Affirmative.
But, this is also kind of dumb.
Sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Awaiting.
If they were closer, it would work, but they're just, like, one tile too far.
Building.
Awaiting orders. Vehicle report. Affirmative. Affirmative.
I guess if they had, maybe if I had, like, the Iron Curtain power-up available, it'd probably work. If they didn't move, but
Reporting.
it just won't be the case.
Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Waiting order.
There's an argument to be made that I should be making, medium tanks. And, I mean, you're not wrong.
Acknowledged. Waiting orders.
Specifically just because as long as you can get somebody to that final marker, then you'll be fine.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Ready.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
It's one of those, as long as you can get somebody to the end area, you're,
Acknowledged.
you know, you're golden no matter what.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, acknowledged.
Oh, and in classic good guy strategy, you should always close in on your opponent when they've got a super destroyer,
Waiting orders. Acknowledged. Waiting orders.
otherwise known as cruisers, of course.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
New
At
construction
once.
options.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledged.
Building.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Reporting. Acknowledged. Yes, sir.
It'll be apparent real soon, at least for this level, and hopefully for future ones as well, that this expansion really starts to take off in the Soviet portion of it. So far, we've seen nuke convoys, the Allies, sarin gas production, all that sort of stuff, but I don't feel like they truly explored the ideas available to them
Vehicle report.
until the Soviet side, and we'll get to see that real soon.
Naval unit lost.
Acknowledged. Comrade. Affirmative.
Sadly, destroyers just happen to be pre-placed, and well, that's what happens when you kind of explore that way.
Affirmative. Yes, acknowledged. Affirmative.
And there's a perfect example as to why, like, the missions are just that much better for Soviets. You never had something as silly as, like, destroyers with nuke launching capabilities, like ICBM type stuff.
Waiting order.
Iron curtain ready.
Yes, affirmative. Reporting. Acknowledged.
And since we have the power of the Iron Curtain, there's an easy opportunity to just face tank, quote unquote, with a submarine and have it nuke just about everything in sight. Sadly, you always have to be careful with your own capabilities.
Affirmative. Yes, acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Naval unit
Yes, sir.
lost.
Acknowledged.
I don't quite know why I didn't use the Iron Curtain there.
Select target. Iron curtain charging.
Reporting. Affirmative.
Probably would have been easier to do that than, well, what I'm doing right now.
Affirmative.
Live and learn, I guess.
Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Report. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
I was starting to get a little annoyed by the targeting going on here.
Affirmative. 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 Report. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Construction complete.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
It just really didn't want to shoot.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. 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 Vehicle affirmative.
Building. Mission accomplished.
Žal Rossio. Žal Jensen. Žal Roskik Jensen. Excellent work in the Ukraine, Commander. You are ambitious. Ambition can be very useful. Might find your way into a cramped corner office in a drafty old building in what used to be the better part of Moscow. I like you. I like you very much. And I am Russian. I do not like anybody. But I drink to you, comrade.